President, do you have any second thoughts about pulling all ground troops out of Iraq?
You know what I just find interesting is the degree to which this issue keeps on coming up, as if this was my decision. For the first time in 9 years, there are no Americans fighting in Iraq. 4 years ago, I promised to end the war in Iraq. We did. 4 years ago, I promised to end the war in Iraq. I did. 4 years ago, I promised to end the war in Iraq, and I did. I told you we'd end the war in Iraq. We did. I said we'd end the Iraq war. We did. I told you I'd end the war in Iraq, and we did. I ended the war in Iraq as I promised. In 2008, I promised we'd end the war in Iraq. We've ended it. I was able to keep my promise and end the war in Iraq. In 2008, I promised we would end the war in Iraq, and we've ended it. The war in Iraq is over. The war in Iraq is over from ending the war in Iraq. That's why I ended the war in Iraq. For the first time in 9 years, there are no Americans fighting in Iraq. We've ended the war in Iraq. I told you we'd end the war in Iraq. We did.
Remind them that this is the president that ended the war in Iraq.
Hey! You know I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I said I'd end the war in Iraq. I ended it.
He has taken good care of our men and women in uniform. He has ended the war in Iraq.
I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. I said I'd end the war in Iraq. I ended it.
We ended the war in Iraq.
That's why I ended the war in Iraq. So, 4 years ago, I told you we'd end the war in Iraq, and I did. Ago, I said I would end the war in Iraq. And I did. Indeed, everything that American troops have done in Iraq, all the fighting, and all the dying, the bleeding, and the building, and the training, and the partnering, all of it has led to this moment of success. But we're leaving behind a sovereign, stable, and self-reliant Iraq.